Hi, this is Les Levine, the self-proclaimed voice of truth and reason in Ohio sports. If any of you heard anything about Paul Dolan's meeting with the Indians players and staff yesterday, you know for sure there's not a racist bone in his body, but he's caught in the middle of another controversy. Last year it was Chief Wahoo. This year it's the name Indians. Now, Paul says that Rob Manfred, the commissioner, gave no demands on getting rid of the chief. Well, if I'm Paul, I just say, look, commish, I gave up a lot of money in merchandising and branding, and I'm not going to do it twice. By the way, is there anybody who really thinks calling the baseball team the Indians is racist? It's not possible. Paul, if you get talked out of the name, go name it something completely different than Indians, and good luck with it. We've got the D-man, Dennis Manoloff, with us. More Sports and Les Levine is on the air. From the worldwide headquarters of More Sports and Les Levine, it's a Wednesday night. Good evening, everyone. Welcome once again to More Sports and Les Levine into its 24th consecutive year, seen exclusively right here on cleveland.com, which is where we find the D-man, Dennis Manoloff, although that's not him. That was Baker Mayfield. We got some before and after Baker Mayfield's pictures, but before and after we talk about him, how about Mookie Betts? Got paid. The man got paid today.
Less for 365 is the report coming out of LA, out of Betts and the Dodgers camp. That's tacked on to his $27 million salary for this year. Great news for Betts. A lot of people are speculating as to when the genesis of that contract was. Did it happen? Did they start talking post-COVID? I want to say this thing's been in the works for a while. The negotiations were well underway before COVID. That's just my guess. But here's the thing, Les. We always want to see if anything affects Cleveland, and it certainly, to me, affects Frankie Lindor in a positive way, because Lindor can sit there and say, all right, this contract post-COVID was signed by a player. There's absolutely no reason that I can't get at least that and maybe more.
All right. Who's the better player, Mookie Betts or Francisco Lindor?
Well, I love Betts, but to me, I'll take the premium shortstop over the premium right fielder every single time, just because the shortstop is just more valuable. Sorry, and that's not to knock Mookie Betts. He's a tremendous player, tremendous athlete, high WAR, the whole deal. But I like Lindor in large part because he is a great player at the most important defensive position other than catcher on the diamond.
All right. So you say, how does it affect Cleveland? Tell me what teams can be in the running in this. If let's say he does not, that Lindor does not get traded this year. Tell me what teams would be most interested and would pay the highest dollar. Because I'm not sure there's anybody who would pay more than what Mookie is getting, but you never know.
Well, Les, that's the thing. You and I know the golden rule of free agency or being traded to a team that's going to trade you for you or acquire you is all it takes is one. It doesn't take two. It doesn't take five. It just takes one. One team needs to pony up the cash. And, I don't know exactly what team that's going to be, who's going to have the deep pockets. You think about the Yankees potentially. You think about maybe, I don't know. I mean, the Anaheim Angels seem to be tapped out. The Dodgers, you never know. Do they have an unending pile of cash? Here's a team, and I have not looked at their financials. Trust me, Les. But I'm just wondering about the Miami Marlins as a team that's lurking. Would they make a splash? I know they got out from under the Giancarlo Stanton and also Christian Yelich contracts. I realize they've been stripping it down to the studs, but this is a team that, maybe, just maybe, if they have the outlay under Derek Jeter's leadership as he looks to ownership, maybe they bring home the Florida product, Frankie Lindor.
And I think we know what position the owner of that team would favor.
Well, yeah, I mean, you would think that, but again, it all depends. I don't know. I don't want to be accused of, oh, how dare you say the Marlins, because they're still going to be perpetual contenders for the next 4 years. I don't know when they're going to be willing to spend. I don't know if they have enough cash, but that to me is an intriguing option because, as we know, Lindor grew up in Florida and played high school ball in Florida, or I mean in Florida. So that would be one. But as I said, just when you think there's a team, no team can afford it, all of a sudden the team will come up with the cash.
No question about it. All right, I mentioned Baker Mayfield. We'll talk more baseball a little bit later. Baker Mayfield. Remember in the offseason they showed pictures of him at the beach or at the somewhere it was nice weather, and they accused him of being a little overweight. Remember? There you go. There he is.
Fake.
All right.
Yeah.
The latest one to show up. This is before and after. Let's see what he looks like. All right, that's him on the right. He look like he's ready to play football.
Yes, and here's the thing: you want your quarterback to have a little bit of meat on the bone because of the amount of hits that the quarterback takes. But you certainly don't complain if you're a Browns fan, if you're a Baker Mayfield fan, when you see a picture like that, because obviously he's invested in what's to come.
Exactly. All right. Bleacher Report wants to know why 2020 is going to be so crucial for him. After setting a new NFL record for touchdown passes by a rookie quarterback with 27, Baker Mayfield entered the 2019 season by a rookie quarterback that really crashed into the rocks during the mistake-filled campaign that included 21 interceptions. That down year turned this into a make-or-break season for Baker. Play well and all is forgiven. Fall flat again, and Baker could find himself in the same position as Mitchell Trubisky finds himself in now. Is Mayfield in danger of being the next Mitchell Trubisky? What do you think?
Yeah, I would think if he follows up the uneven 2019 with another choppy season and the Browns don't go anywhere, then yeah, he becomes a quarterback who is going to get pushed for the job. And as the reference to Trubisky, I mean, he's now going to be pushed by Nick Foles, the former Super Bowl MVP. But there's no guarantee Foles beats out our own Mitch Trubisky, Menor High's Mitch Trubisky, because Gardner Minshew essentially beat out Nick Foles in Jacksonville. So, and Trubisky is, he said he's as motivated as ever, that the Bears are his team. So we shall see. But the NFL, as we know, not for long. That's what it stands for. Not only with injuries, but also with performance. And if you're a quarterback early in your career and you put together back-to-back dud seasons, even if you're number one overall, you're going to be on the hot seat, because especially when the new regime, they didn't draft you. The group that's here now did not draft Baker Mayfield.
You're absolutely right. Well, did you know the Ohio Lottery has paid out over $1 billion in winnings over the past 6 months? People are winning in record numbers around the state. Winnings happening all over. Play an Ohio Lottery game and play it today. You can also follow us on Facebook, facebook.com. Real simple. We post a question during the morning. You respond to it all day long. We read it on the air that night. Can't beat that. More sports and less. Levine continues with the D-Man Dennis Manoloff exclusively on cleveland.com.
Presque Isle Downs and Casino has sports betting. Use one of our 50 state-of-the-art Bet America kiosks to place your bet and watch your favorite games on one of our many HD televisions, or visit our sportsbook area. Only at Presque Isle Downs and Casino.
Do you like Ohio State football? Would you like to get information from me, Doug Lesmerises, about Ohio State football without having to look at my face? we have got the plan for you. Become an Ohio State text subscriber through cleveland.com. You send a text, 614-350-3315. What do you get? 2, 3, 4 texts right in your phone every day about Ohio State football. Inside information, polls, voting, all kinds of things. You can be on our podcast. We take text subscriber questions on our Buckeye Talk podcast every week. If you really want to be involved with Ohio State football, in season or out of season, become an Ohio State text subscriber from cleveland.com. Send a text to 614-350-3315. 14-day free trial. What do you have to lose? $3.99 a month after that. 614-350-3315. I'll see you in your phone.
As a kid growing up, my dream was to go to college, play baseball, and get a degree. Coming out of high school, I had two choices. I was accepted into a four-year university, but I decided to come to Tri-C after receiving a scholarship. I got my associate's degree at Tri-C. They transferred all my credits straight into Baldwin-Wallace, so I started at Baldwin-Wallace University as a junior. My name is Tyler Leonard, and I earned my first degree at Tri-C.
The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program recognizes role model students and teachers from across Ohio. Nominations can now be done completely online. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to ohiolottery.com. In the About section, find Partners in Education. There you will find links to the nomination forms. Students kindergarten through 12th grade can be academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as a Teacher of the Month. The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education, where stars shine.
Birthdays for today, July 22nd. Lisa Carr was born on this date in 1947. Dave Steve threw a no-hitter against the Indians for the Toronto Blue Jays. Tim Brown, Mike Sweeney, as well as Steven Jackson, and Ezekiel Elliott, seen on the left, for the Dallas Cowboys, and of course the Ohio State University. 216-575-0403 is the number to call. Dennis Manoloff is with us. Hey, D-Man, not at the end of this break here. Next segment, unless I talk myself out of it, my audience is going to hear something from me that they've never heard before, or the attitudes they've heard before. And I just want you to, I may talk myself out of it, but if I don't, stick around, it may be worth it.
All right.
Well, not you. You have to stick around.
I'm sufficiently nervous, but let me share something with you that I saw during the break. I was scrolling through Twitter. I'm kind of behind on it. This is interesting, to say the least, Les. John Heyman, MLB Network.
Yep.
Sources, MLB and Union are re-engaging on the possibility of expanded playoffs for this season. Has to be done before the first pitch tomorrow night.
That's
but
absurd.
There seems to be, what's that?
That's absurd.
There seems to be optimism, he said. Hope was to go from 10 playoff teams to 16.
16 out of 30. 16 out of 30.
Yeah. I mean,
you like at first blush, you like it?
Not necessarily that big of a jump from 10 to 16. I'm not necessarily a fan, but it's encouraging to actually read a tweet or a report that says that Union seem to be ready to agree on something.
Huh.
So
interesting. Well, the Indians,
knows?
I mean, you would think that would almost make the Indians an automatic team to make the playoffs, but I don't know, that expansion is a little concerning to me. Getting back to football here, ESPN.com rates their teams, and they're talking about the most improved teams in the NFL. Now, remember, a lot of the national guys have been very high on the Browns this year. Have you noticed that?
Just a little.
Yeah, a little bit. More than last year, I think. And last year was when all heck was going to break loose. All right, they've got the most improved teams. Number 1, the Miami Dolphins. You okay with that?
I can believe it with Brian Flores. The way they finished the season last year, beating Belichick at New England to deny him a bye, that shows me that they're on the right path, yes.
All right, what about Joe Burrow with the Cincinnati Bengals? They are number 2 in the most improved teams.
That's way too generous for the Cincinnati Bengals, especially when 3 and 4 are teams such as the Buccaneers and the Colts.
How about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers under Tom Brady? TB
I
Tampa
mean,
Bay, TB
that,
Tom Brady.
that should be number 1 or 2. I'll buy the Dolphins though as number 1, but give me the Buccaneers number 2. Tom Brady still is a transcendent talent into his 40s, into his mid 40s, and Bruce Arians with his mind and those weapons, that offense could be video game like.
How about number 4, Indianapolis Colts?
Oh, absolutely. I'm buying tremendous stock in the Colts. I mean, they were an up and coming team, and then Andrew Luck walked away, entering the prime of his career. So they struggled last year, but to get Phil Rivers in player, you put him together with Frank Reich, and that offense could be explosive on the climate-controlled turf at RCA Dome.
All right, the lure of the Cleveland Browns. Go ahead.
Sorry, Lucas Oil. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah, right. Cleveland Browns number 5 in this group, so they continue to impress a lot of the players out there. The inside, a lot of NFL insiders. The Cleveland Browns. You got them at about the 5th spot of improved teams.
Listen, Les, you know how it is with me. I wish the Browns were nowhere to be seen on any of these preseason hype lists or any of these, data analyses. Let them be the most glossed over team in the world. I don't want anybody talking about them. Well, the less hype, the better.
I got more people talking about them. I have ESPN.com. The Browns entered the offseason believing they needed to get better in 2 key areas, coaching staff and offensive tackle. The hope is Stefanski can bring calm to the proceedings. A big free agent buck spent on Conklin and a top 10 pick on Wills should help solve that problem at tackle. Cleveland also added another prime passing target for Baker Mayfield and Hooper, who is at the top passing game target for Baker Mayfield in Cleveland. Hooper was the top choice at free agency at right end. No more, they underline it, no more excuses for Cleveland. So, D-Man, are there any more excuses in Cleveland?
I guess not. I mean, Kevin Stefanski, man, he better have a big set of stones. I shouldn't use that term. Intestinal fortitude, because he comes in here and there is a lot of pressure on Stefanski to win right away. And oh, by the way, what is his first season as an NFL head coach?
What is win right away? What is that number? Win right away?
I think it's
playoff
right around 9 wins. I mean, I think you've got to deliver 9 wins at a minimum. I was going to say 8, and say, oh yeah, the Browns were 500 after being 6-10 the previous year, but I don't know with the amount of talent that we are told that this team has on both sides of the ball, and how we were told that coaching, specifically Freddie Kitchens, was the big stumbling block last year, and they still managed 6 victories. I think 9 is your minimum. That's your floor, and you try to shoot for as many as, 11, realistically.
We had Mary Kay on the other day, and she said, listen, the Browns could have won 2 or 3 or even 4 more games last year with the right coaching. If that's the case, you don't have to do much more than they did last year and hit that number now.
Yeah, I mean, you could look at it that way. There were some games they won that they probably could have lost as well. But even as much as I just talked about Kevin Stefanski replacing Freddie and the fact that they added the tackles, which was, of course, very important, it all boils down to the Bake Show. I mean, he has to play at the level that you thought he was going to play when you drafted him number 1 overall a couple of years ago. That's the bottom line. I mean, he cannot be the quarterback that we saw last year. If Baker Mayfield gets back to or improves upon his 2018, then I think the Browns can feel really good about their chances.
216-575-0403 is the number to call. Dennis Manoloff, the D-Man, is with us. D-Man, I haven't changed my mind yet. It'll be the end of the next segment, unless somebody talks sense into me.
All right.
All right. You get ready for it.
Les, you're the ultimate pro, so I will give you, the call on this. But always just
Well,
remember, you rise above the muck if necessary.
rise above the muck. I like it. I like it. No question about it. All right, that'll come at the end of the next segment unless I don't rise above the muck and I change my mind on this thing. Northeast Factory Direct, the East, West, and South, they've got them, as well as NortheastFactoryDirect.com is where you got to go first. They've got the best price guarantee in Northeastern Ohio, and that lasts a year. We'll come back in a moment with Dennis Manoloff. Tomorrow night, Mary Kay Cabot. More sports and less. Levine continues exclusively on cleveland.com.
Wow! Get Nature Stone and never replace your garage flooring again. Act now for huge summer savings on our exclusive Nature's Blend Stone, as low as $2.99 a square foot plus installation. Only Nature Stone eliminates cracked, uneven concrete, and Nature Stone never peels like cheap paints and coatings. Safe, beautiful garage flooring that's always backed by Russell's Promise, our true unconditional warranty. Schedule your free cost estimate easily online today at naturestone.com. It's not just a floor.
Wow, it's Nature Stone.
There are tastes we remember. Every smell brings the happiness of times gone by. Experience this every time you walk into Gallucci's Italian Foods. Whether you need lunch on the go, a catered party, or that perfect blend of wine, meats, and cheeses, Gallucci's has exactly what you're looking for. Straight from Mama's kitchen for old world traditions or original experiences. From the tastes you remember to new flavors you'll never forget. Gallucci's is a tasty branch of your family tree.
When it comes to selling you a mattress, most retailers are handing you a long line of extra steps that drive up costs and create confusion. At the Original Mattress Factory, we simplify the mattress shopping experience by building mattresses and box springs in our own local factories and selling them direct to you. It's short, sweet, and simply makes sense. So experience more than just the mattress store. Experience an original, the Original Mattress Factory.
All right, D-Man, it's no secret the Browns, at least on paper, look like they're struggling at the linebacker position. Do you think they've made enough changes or added enough people that doesn't matter in a game that doesn't put as much credence on the linebacking position as it hasn't over the years?
Yeah, you wonder how it's going to work with the Browns defensively, but I think they're capable of hiding a linebacker deficiency. Number one, with an offense that's potentially explosive and can control the ball, shrink the clock, so your defense isn't going to be on the field as much, presumably, if everybody's playing well. Number two, because your front line has real pieces to it, and obviously we know Miles signed his big deal. So Myles Garrett and company with Richardson and Ogunjobi and hopefully a rejuvenated Olivier Vernon can put so much pressure on the quarterback that the linebackers are hidden a little bit, and then your DBs figure to be good as well if the young guys can progress like they're supposed to. But there's certainly talent on paper, at least potential talent on paper. So I think they could get away with it. The other thing too is it's not like the cupboard is bare at linebacker. You think of a guy like Mac Wilson, BJ Goodson comes in and he could probably be a decent role player. So it's not like they're terrible at linebacker, but clearly on the defense, you talk about three levels, the least effective or the least scary is linebacker.
Do you think they brought all the new coaching staff in and had them do all their evaluations, and they probably agreed on saying, all right, we're going to take care of the offense, we're going to take care of the defensive backfield. Okay, now we'll take next. If we don't get it this year, we'll finish it off next year with the linebackers. Do you think that's how it came down?
It's entirely possible, but there's also the possibility, Les, that they had identified a linebacker that they wanted, either, I don't know, in the draft or free agency or via trade, and they weren't able to acquire him.
Right.
So maybe that, put those plans on hold to address the linebacker situation. But they would probably tell you that everything has fallen according to plan when they look at their, at their depth chart. Because think about Grant Delpit. I mean, he's an example to me of, all right, the Browns looked at Grant Delpit being available to them in the second round and said, we want this guy. We plan on him being an impact player for us at safety, as opposed to who's the next or who's the best linebacker available in the second round.
I think that's how it came out. So notes on the 2020 linebacker group. Key additions, Jacob Phillip and B.J. Goodson, as D-Man said. Key losses, Joe Schobert and Christian Kirksey. Average age of the linebacking core, just 24. Goodson is the only linebacker with 5 years or more experience in the NFL, and they are ranked number 31 out of 32 in the Pro Football Focus linebacker rating. It's interesting because we're talking about the national guys out there, overrating maybe in many cases some of the positions or the units, and yet there's no fake here. They're 31 out of 32.
Right, and I think a lot of it is because Schobert is gone, and he was, the quote-unquote captain of the defense, incredibly cerebral player. Yes, he missed some tackles along the way, but he's a guy that, you're going to miss him. There's no doubt you're going to miss Joe Schobert. But I'll say this. All I ask, if I'm Stefanski and the crew, and his coaching staff, all I ask for my linebackers, just tackle, okay?
Right.
Just tackle.
And you're not going to know based on what they've been able to do and not do in practice. You don't know if they can do that.
Right, and we don't have any exhibition games to point to either. So, but too many times over the past few years, the Browns linebacking core, has had an opportunity to tackle somebody and he slipped through their grasp. So that's, to me, job one for this crew.
All right, before I get on to some needed business on my part here, when news comes down, the Indians are playing Kansas City over the weekend in the games that count. Hunter Dozier has tested positive for the COVID-19. So that's not good for that team.
That's a big loss for the Royals. Dozier is a quality young player. I mean, as you show right there, he can play, and that's going to hurt him.
216-575-0403 is the number to call. D-Man, nobody sent me a note. Nobody shoved it under the table here that I shouldn't do what I'm about to do. So you can agree, you can disagree, you can walk out, you can do whatever you want to do. But I got work I got to do. I usually do emails later in the show. This one couldn't wait. This is from Alex. Hey, Les, I don't mean to be offensive, but I can't believe that a TV personality would not know better than to wear the ridiculous frown that you always have, and then you continue to wear them. Hasn't anybody told you this is not good? I can't believe it's possible that nobody has told you this. It's so pronounced. It also seems that an intentional caricature about you makes it unpleasant to watch. All I can think of is, what's wrong with you? Are you unhappy to be there? Do you have an unhappy life? Do you ever look down at your own videos and see what you look like? Please accept my apologies for sending a message that does not continue to constitute praise, and heaven forbid, the least that I want to do is make you more unhappy. But I also do TV spots from time to time. I would really be grateful for somebody to tell you how bad this looks. I'm just trying to be helpful. Maybe you could get somebody to talk about your video. Anyway, thanks for thanks for the opportunity to read my column or my comment here, and have a great day. Okay. The only reason I'm responding to this is I've responded to this guy already, and he didn't give me a proper answer. So I'm going to go ahead and make a fool of him, or he can make a fool of me. But I owe this to my audience, and I owe this to myself, and I owe this to my family. Alex, thanks for watching MS&LL. You are one of the over 2 million unique hits that have followed us over to cleveland.com. I'm really sorry you were offended by the way I look these days with my ridiculous frown and overturned edges. Must be so difficult for you to watch. Alex, as a follower of this show, surely you must be aware that over 2.5 years ago, I announced to this audience that I was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease. I chose not to keep it a secret. Some days are good, some are not. Some days it takes me 10 takes to do Truth and Reason that opens the show. Sometimes it takes me 1. The bad part and getting shut down by one of the bad parts is getting shut down to In Motion, which is a resource for patients, families, and caretakers. The COVID ID did that, shut it down. Alex, my looks are not as important to me these days. Allowing my beautiful wife Allison to have a lot of healthy years to live with her husband, 4 healthy kids, and 5 healthy grandchildren. That's all I want out of this. And oh yeah, I'd like to continue to be a little relevant, entertaining, and still the self-proclaimed voice of truth and reason, no matter how painful it must be for you to look at me these days. In the meantime, maybe you can help out, Alex. I'm part of a virtual walk for Parkinson's on September 13 when the Browns play at night. I'll give you the address tomorrow. You don't have to look good to participate.
Measured response, Les, for sure.
216-575-0403 is the number to call. We'll come back. We'll find out what's going on with the D-Man and more after we take this time out.
As a kid growing up, my dream was to go to college, play baseball, and get a degree. Coming out of high school, I had 2 choices. I was accepted into a 4-year university, but I decided to come to Tri-C after receiving a scholarship. I got my associate's degree at Tri-C. They transferred all my credits straight into Baldwin-Wallace, so I started at Baldwin-Wallace University as a junior. My name is Tyler Leonard, and I earned my first degree at Tri-C.
Well, hello everyone. Let me tell you a little bit about Browns Football Insider. For only $3.99 a month, you can get text sent right to your phone each day from me, Dan Lobby, Scott Pasco, and Ellis Williams. In addition to that, you'll receive a Football Insider newsletter every day with special things from us, things that you won't see anywhere else on the site. You'll get breaking news, analysis, features, film breakdown, and things like that. Texting us directly gives you a great chance to cut through the clutter of Facebook, Twitter, other social media, and avoid the trolls. Also, it's the only way to get your questions on the Orange and Brown Talk podcast. So why should you sign up? Try a 14-day free trial. You can cancel at any time. All it takes is 1 text, but you won't want to cancel. We have hundreds of subscribers join us over the last year. They love it and have stayed with us. We're seeing the Football Insider community grow every week. And it's only $3.99 a month, which is less than 14 cents a day. What I like most about Football Insider is the opportunity to connect with you one-on-one and really communicate with you. So how can you become a Football Insider? You can click on cleveland.com/Browns, the blue banner at the top of the page. Or easier yet, text me at 216-208-3965. Again, that's 216-208-3965.
It takes attention to detail. With your local Bryant dealer, you're getting more than just a technician. You're getting someone who pays attention to your needs and the little things that make a big difference. It takes a dealer you can rely on. And to keep your family warm this winter,
here, let me show you how this works.
It takes Bryant.
Bryant. Whatever it takes.
And to keep your family comfortable, it takes Smiley One Heating and Cooling. Find them at smiley1.com.
This day in sports history, Braves pitcher Greg Maddux throws a complete game shutout, 77 pitches, 63 are pitches that were called strikes. The Braves win the game by a score of 4-1 over the Cubs. How about that, D-Man? 77 pitches?
Yeah, Maddox was Picasso. He could paint like nobody on a mound. He was incredible.
All right, we mentioned earlier about Hunter Dozier out. He hit 279 last year. What I think is important to notice or check out is how do you think a Terry Francona team will do in a 60-game schedule? First of all, he's pretty good normally. In fact, the only question is why he did struggle a little bit at the beginning of seasons. But last night, well, we can take a look at these from the post All-Star break. Starting in 2013, the first 60 games, Francona's team, the Indians, went 30-30. Post All-Star break, they were 41-26. 2014, again 30-30, and 28-30 in post All-Star break. Then you get to 2015, 28-32, 4 games under, and they go ahead and do much better after the break, finishing 39-34. Then in 2016, turns out to be a World Series year, 34-26 for the start, 42-31 for the backside of the postseason. 2017, they go 31-29, and how about this, 55-20? That I assume that was with the 22-game win streak, right? 2018, 32-28 for the Indians, and 39-28 after the All-Star break. Then last year, 30-30, and then finished hot at 43-41. T-Man, first of all, any thought on why why a Terry Francona team in Cleveland would struggle, other than early season bad weather? But that's all the time here.
Yeah, and the graphic is really telling. I mean, you knew that Francona's teams in Cleveland were not hot starters, but that really hammered the point home when you actually see the numbers and you see the improvement in the quote unquote second half. We know they're not, split down the middle, obviously, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know what there is to it. I mean, some people would say cold weather, but that applies to most teams, certainly east of the Mississippi. So that's not really a valid excuse to me. I don't know what it is about Francona's teams, but they have kicked it into gear after the break.
Hey, man, let me ask you this about what's going on right now in baseball. You and I felt the same way. We didn't like the way it came down, but I'd much rather have it than not have it. In fact, I'm going to go home tonight, watch a game, exhibition game, something we've missed for the last several months. So I'm looking forward to that. But how are you handling it now that you're seeing an exhibition game? Now that you see other teams around on television, are you feeling a little better about this 60 game season?
Oh yeah, a lot better. And I realized that a few weeks ago, even I was saying that this 60 game commissioner and postseason was a joke. Why I even said in a tweet that they should just punt on this season and come back in 2021. I'm glad that they didn't listen to me, even though I still think 60 games is way too low of a total. I'm going to buy in because, number one, I'm craving sports. Number two, my favorite sport is baseball. Number three, they're telling me that 60 games matter, that there actually is a season, as opposed to, all we're going to do is play, a barnstorming tour. As long as they actually tell me that 60 games means something, and then there's a playoffs that means something, then I'll buy in. I cannot wait for tomorrow night when the season gets underway, MLB-wise, with the Yankees and the Nats. It's going to be fascinating. People will watch. And, so, yeah, I've done a 179, I guess, as opposed to a
Not a
180.
on
this whole, but you know what, Les? I knew I was going to.
Me too.
Going to once they announced the 60 games.
Right, I agree totally with that. What did you think about the television coverage? The way they fake the music and the sounds. I'm wondering, have the Indians said anything about John Adams, the drummer boy?
Yes, I had Curtis Danberg on my show on WTAM a few days ago, and Curtis said they have taped John Adams' drum that they are going to play over the over the PA when the time comes. And one of the main, if not the reason why, is because they asked their players what they wanted out of the sound system, and the players said, absolutely, the majority, I would assume vast majority.
If we can't get Dennis Manoloff's dog, we want John Adams.
Yeah, they're all excited because Denise just got home, but she. But the thing is, the players said they wanted John Adams' drum.
That's great. That's great. I hope they pay him a little stipend. That would be nice on their part. I know they got so much money going out. What's another whatever? I think that's great. There's no question about that. The pressure. You think about the pressure of pitchers and managers and home run hitters. The pressure is on the guy doing game day stuff, and you don't want him to hit the button too early if it's not a home run. That's a lot of pressure on the guy.
Yes, that's true.
216-575-0403 as we head down the road here to the end of the show. If you'd like to get in, you can do that now. If you have some quickies, we'd like them also right now. Northeast Factory Direct, Northeast, of course, northeastfactorydirect.com. East, West, and South, they've got them all over. Lakeland Boulevard as well as West 140th Street and Freeway Drive, that's in Macedonia. Sokolowski's University Inn, what a job they have done over the years, still deciding what they're going to do. But they are the only ones in Cleveland who's ever had the James Beard Foundation Award only one time, and they had it, and they are proud winners of that, no matter what else they've done in this great city, in this great restaurant town. We'll come back in a moment with Dennis Manoloff. Tomorrow night, Mary Kay Cabot. More sports and Les Levine continues exclusively on cleveland.com.
Never replace your basement flooring again. Act now for huge summer savings on our exclusive Nature's Pearl Stone, as low as $2.99 a square foot plus installation. Schedule your free cost estimate easily online today. It's not just a floor.
Wow, it's Nature Stone.
When it comes to selling you a mattress, most retailers are handing you a long line of extra steps that drive up costs and create confusion. At the Original Mattress Factory, we simplify the mattress shopping experience by building mattresses and box springs in our own local factories and selling them direct to you. It's short, sweet, and simply makes sense. So experience more than just a mattress store. Experience an original, the Original Mattress Factory.
Presque Isle Downs and Casino has sports betting. Use one of our 50 state-of-the-art Bet America kiosks to place your bet and watch your favorite games on one of our many HD televisions or visit our sportsbook area. Only at Presque Isle Downs and Casino.
All right, this stayed in Les Levine history, July 22nd. Les took his family on a tour of Army bases around the country and called the tour more forts in Les Levine. Best I could come up with.
Nice.
You think that's easy to do? 216
Hey,
575-0403. Yeah.
How about those Blue Jays, Les? Canadian government says, no, you are not playing in Toronto. So they're looking around. They go to Pittsburgh, and Pennsylvania says, you're not playing in Pittsburgh.
You know, I've been using this How Come Quickie maybe once a year. How come the Toronto Blue Jays are in the American League division? Not America, last time I checked. Boy, how about Mark Shapiro's got to put up with that, right?
Yeah, well, you know what? Shappy doesn't care. He loves to play the Class AAA stud roster. We're going to be great in 5 years card.
Right,
so
right.
that shouldn't bother him.
All right, the Indians, rather, to be good, need some help from Brad Hand, the left-handed relief pitcher. Pre-All-Star game last year, 39 games, 21 post-All-Star games, then 37.2 innings, and 20 after the All-Star break. ERA of 3.12 versus 5.73. That's not good. 23 saves versus 11 after the All-Star break, and 1 blown save pre-All-Star, and 4 after the All-Star game. 200 opponent batting average, and 310 is the post-All-Star game. Not only was I concerned with Brad Hand last year, D-Man, but I wasn't happy. I thought we were going to get more from Simber, and he never came around last year. You'd figure that motion alone would be tough.
Right. I don't know exactly what happened to Brad Hand, but it just seemed like his stuff left him. I mean, he's a two-pitch guy, as most relievers are. The fastball didn't quite have the zip or the command. He wasn't able to command it within the zone. And then the sliders kind of had a belly to it. So you look for the bounce back from Brad Hand, but I'm excited with some of the power arms that are back there now that we're going to see from the jumps, such as James Karinchak. The harder you throw in a bullpen, to me, the better off you're going to be.
Yeah, you only get to see him one time for the most part. That's why I'm kind of upset that Emmanuel Clase didn't follow the rules and got caught at it. We'll never know how good he would have been. Right now, you're looking at nothing for Corey Kluber at this point. I mean, hopefully.
Well, that's it. Les, you make the point. I mean, I don't think Delino DeShields Jr. is making the roster, so you don't have DeShields starting the season, and you don't have Clase. So as of now, it's Kluber for nothing.
Yeah. Not that he was going to get his third Cy Young award, but it would have been good to have him. Although, how do you like the way the starting rotation checks out here? You happy with it?
Oh, I mean, no complaints. It's the best rotation in the division, one of the best in baseball. When your top it consists of Bieber and Clevenger, and then you're followed by Carrasco, and you've got Savale and Plesac in there. Pletko to the bullpen as a bailout or as a safety valve. So that rotation, not only the front end of it, the top three, but certainly 1 through 5. The best in the AL Central.
All right, we asked our Facebook respondents to say, who do they expect to have a breakout year for the Indians this season? Aaron Wood says, I think our pitching will do well. We also have a good lineup. Lawrence Butler says, Cesar Hernandez, second baseman. I like the fact that, D-Man, they're going with 4 straight switch hitters. I like that whole concept. Larry Pantages, prediction for Shane Bieber, 8 starts, 8 wins, no losses. He'll be the 11th pitcher to win the Cy Young and MVP awards in the same season. Just forget about a year ago, I said Freddie Kitchens would also be the next Jerry Glanville. Well, okay. Andy Mees says, I'm going to go with the pitching side and say Aaron Savali will build off the success in a limited number of games last year. Perhaps he'll become the top relief rotation caliber pitcher by season's end. If that happens, good luck, American League Central and NL Central Division teams. Yeah, it's hard to disagree with that, no question about that. 216-575-0403. Yeah, big news for Mr. Gullible who's out there. We finally, after the show, after extensive research and guessing, Brian actually figured out the how come quickie that we didn't understand for the past 3 days. So I'm not saying it was a good one. I'm just saying we understand it now. In fact, we threw it away. I don't know if we'll be able to read it. Let's take a break, see what we have in the how come quickie department and more. Dennis Manoloff with us, Mary Kay Cabot tomorrow. More sports and less Levine, exclusively on cleveland.com.
Wow! Get Nature Stone and never replace your garage flooring again. Act now for huge summer savings on our exclusive Nature's Blend Stone, as low as $2.99 a square foot plus installation. Only Nature Stone eliminates cracked, uneven concrete, and Nature Stone never peels like cheap paints and coatings. Safe, beautiful garage flooring that's always backed by Russell's Promise, our true unconditional warranty. Schedule your free cost estimate easily online today at naturestone.com. It's not just a floor.
Wow, it's Nature Stone.
There are tastes we remember. Every smell brings the happiness of times gone by. Experience this every time you walk into Gallucci's Italian Foods. Whether you need lunch on the go, a catered party, or that perfect blend of wine, meats, and cheeses, Gallucci's has exactly what you're looking for. Straight from Mama's Kitchen for old world traditions or original experiences. From the tastes you remember to new flavors you'll never forget. Gallucci's is a tasty branch of your family tree.
The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program recognizes role model students and teachers from across Ohio. Nominations can now be done completely online. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to ohiolottery.com. In the About section, find Partners in Education. There you will find links to the nomination forms. Students kindergarten through 12th grade can be academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as a Teacher of the Month. The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education, where stars shine.
Tomorrow night, Mary Kay Cabot joins us. We do the show live from 6 until 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And, of course, you can archive it all day and all night right here on cleveland.com. 216-575-0403. If you want to sneak in a call before the end of the show, we can do that. Larry Morgan writes in, he claims to be a fellow Brush Arc. Go Arcs, the brown and gold. Again, keep up the good work. Larry says, first of all, thanks for continuing to put together a very entertaining show. I have a subject for you and your guests that could lead to a lively discussion. D-Man, I think you'll like this. I think we're going to do this. Sit around at a round table. Maybe when we can get back into a studio and do a show, as like the old days. Larry says, out of all the Indians teams that you've covered, not the all-time Indians teams, just the one you've covered, who would comprise your starting 10, including pitcher and designated hitter? And when the Indians, with the Indians about to start, I'd just be curious to hear your picks again. And again, keep up the good work. Larry, that's a good idea. D-Man, we ought to just sit there and talk about players we've seen and would be part of the all-time team in the foreseeable future. We'll do that.
Yeah. I mean, or you say we would do it eventually. I mean, we could shoot at it now if you wanted to.
Let's save some time for it. We'll get some pictures up and video and all that stuff. We'll do that. Big Ed writes in today. I gotta put away one of them. We're gonna take number 2. How come when the TV repairman got married, the reception was excellent? What do you think?
I like it. That's an 8.
That's an 8. Yeah, I like it also. All right, let's see. Oh, now Mr. Gullible's he's kind of sucking up a little bit, I think. He says, how come the combining the D-Man and the G-Man makes this an unbeatable show? G-Man must be gullible, right? Okay, here's this thing he's been trying to get into me for 3 or 4 days, and I wouldn't put it on originally because I didn't get it, and I didn't want to take a chance. Brian explains what it is. All right. How come my belly is flat, but the L is silent? See, I think he's trying to say his belly is fat. Let me try it again and see if you agree. How come my belly is flat, but the L is silent? That's what he means, right? You'd have to think
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
That's enough. Enough is enough. He can buy my book. I'll have all his quickies in there. He stole them from most people anyway.
I can see where he's saying my belly is fat, but the L is silent. I can see it both ways.
Yeah. Bud Shaw's rule for voting on this is you can't see it coming. If you can see it coming, it's not good. And also, if he's sure it's been stolen, it definitely is not good. And Bud has a way of knowing if they've been stolen or not.
Agreed.
All right, got about 2 minutes here. Indians, they got an exhibition game tonight in Pittsburgh, and then they come home Friday night. Should be a lot of fun. Are they going to let people outside the stadium or not? How are they going to do that?
Yeah, I don't think they want that many. As I mentioned before, I had spoken to Curtis Danberg a few days ago, and I asked him about opening day, and he said, they're not really encouraging fans to come down, as you can pretty much guess why. I mean, they don't want large congregations of people, even if they're outside the gates, and even if they are celebrating another season of Major League Baseball. So my sense is the Indians are tamping it down. They don't want people to show up in droves outside the gates. But this is going to be must see, must listen for me. I cannot wait. I can't wait for tomorrow night. Les, think about this. As difficult as these past few months have been for, of course, the world, with COVID, but also the sporting community, in September, as best that I can certainly in my lifetime and probably in your lifetime, I don't know that there's ever been a case where you have baseball, basketball, football, and hockey playing at the same time in this country.
Absolutely, no question about it.
I mean, regular season or playoff games, not preseason games.
Right. No, I think you hit on something, and it'll be interesting to see how if you can get into the games to see how fans will respond to it. What do you think? I'm surprised. I was watching the game the other night, and I wasn't drawn to the whole thing. I had it on and walked by and watched and walked by and watched. At what point will we just get used to it and say, oh, there's a couple hundred people here, or there's nobody here. I think we're going to adapt to it pretty quick.
I'm with you. It didn't take me long, Les, to adapt to it quickly when it was the Korean baseball overnight, middle of the night that they were showing. Not that I'm a fan of Korean baseball. I don't know the players, but I said, okay, I want to watch this as maybe a template to see how they're doing it.
Right.
And quite honestly, I watched, within the first couple of innings, I had already moved past the fanless aspect of it. And here's the other thing, too, we got to remember, Les. The zoom in for batter pitcher, it barely shows any fans anyway.
Yeah, right.
I mean, that camera angle that's locking in on the batter, the pitcher, the catcher, and the ump, you see the background, you see the advertisements.
Yep.
You may see a few people here and there, but for the most part, that all-important aspect of the baseball game doesn't involve that many fans when you look at that shot. So
and you're showing it from behind the pitcher and the 2 or 3 rows anyway. All right, quickly, 60 games. Number one, what do they need to win to get to the postseason? And how many games do you think the Indians win?
Yeah, I think at one point I said 35 to get in. Now, the expanded playoffs, if it's 16 teams, I would say you could get in with, let's say, 34.
Yeah, I would think
But
so.
if it's 10 and you have to win the division pretty much, I would up that to about 37.
And you think the Indians do that?
They're certainly capable of. I'll take the Indians over any team in the division right now.
All right, D-Man, great job as always. We appreciate it. We'll see you next Wednesday night.
Thank you, Les.
Okay, the D-Man, Dennis Manoloff of WTAM 1100. All right, that'll do it for us. Let's take a break for 40. What do we have? How many hours would that be? 23 hours. We'll take a 23-hour break and be back tomorrow with Mary Kay. Of all the shows I've ever done, this is the most recent.